10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, and happy Monday. Here we are again, one more week of Lunch with Faride, and today it is Money Monday. So we're going to be talking about how to keep most of your money for the holidays and not go broke. And then when you go in January, be all worried about how to pay your debt back. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. I know there's some of you that are already joining us. So whether you're watching this episode live with me, please, if you are watching it live, please let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you have any questions in regards to money. Let's talk about money today. Now, if you watch it later, you can still put it on the comments. If you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on Facebook Live or any of the StreamYard channels, then please, please, please feel free at any time that you watch this, whether it's a year from now, a month from now, a week from now, or today. Make sure that you put your questions on the chat because I'm going to be answering any of your money questions. Okay, so we're going to start. First thing is first. There is 1 month left in 2021. Can you guys believe this? I know I can't. I was sitting there thinking about it and going, where has the year gone? Time just flies, especially if you're having a good year. It just flies. Sometimes you're sitting there, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden you look at the clock again and it's 11:30 and you feel like only 30 minutes went by. Well, that's how it gets towards the end of the year, especially because most people's bad month income are usually at the end of the year, right? Businesses slow down unless you're in retail and you're selling Christmas gifts or Christmas decorations or, any of the holiday stuff. But today, here we go, how money works. We're going to be talking about how money works for the holidays. So I hope you guys like my shirt. I'm going to sport it every time we talk about money because you guys know that I promote the How Money Works book. So if you don't have the book, you can go to Amazon and get it for $17. But you can also send me a message and I'll send it to you for free as my gift for Christmas. Okay? So here we go. Let's just casually talk about what people go through. What are some of the problems that people go through in these times? Okay. Well, first, let's say hi. Hi, Alejandro. San Diego, as always. That's right. San Diego in the house. I'm so glad that you're joining me. This might be an episode that you will like. So hopefully you take something from it. And like I said, for all of you watching, because I can see a lot of little things going up on my screen. So if you're watching, let me know what is one of the hurdles or one of the obstacles, financial obstacles that you face during the month of November, December, and if I want to say January, but we're going to keep it to 2021. Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. The number one problem that people face is that they don't plan ahead. They don't plan accordingly. They go day by day, just kind of like whatever the day brings is what I'll do. And that is the number one mistake for people. we have to get really good about planning, right? If there's a lack of knowledge, then you acquire it by reading what the professionals are talking about. How Money Works is an awesome book to start. It's as I always talk about, it is very easy to read. It has little cartoon characters that kind of role play and go back and forth on issues about money. But there's other financial books that you guys can read. If you don't know how to budget, let's just say that, then you might want to buy a couple books. Don't stick to one. Maybe buy a couple books about budgeting. It's always really good to get your hands on books. Books are supposed to teach you. Now, if you're one of those that complains about, oh, I don't know how to read, or you're like me, my reading time is usually before going to bed, or it has been for many years, because it makes me doze off. It makes me tired of reading. So then, therefore, I go to sleep really comfortable at the end of the night. But let's talk about, I have 6 steps to give you, okay, to plan accordingly. This will help you line up, close out your year for 2021, and line up the next year for 2022. Can you guys believe 2022? Oh my God, it's around the corner. I am so excited about that. But today, since it's Money Monday, I'm going to give you how to stay within budget. We're going to talk about how to stay within budget. Again, first error people make is they don't plan, right? So here, I'm going to teach you a things to get you through the holidays and get you started for 2022. And again, that Monday of the month that we talk about money, I want to make sure that you guys get all your questions answered to the best of my ability. And whatever I don't know, I'm not going to just make it up, okay? I'm going to take that question and then I'm going to go ask people that know more than me, and I'll bring it back the following Money Monday. Somebody sending me a message. I'm not going to put it on the screen, but hello, Bollywood. Thank you so much for that. But if you have a money question, please put it on the chat and I will go ahead and post it on the screen. But here we go. Let's see. All right. So 6 ways to stay within budget. Whether this is a budget that you're going to do every month, whether it is the end of your month, the quarterly budget, or the yearly budget. All of these steps that I'm going to give you, the 6 steps that I'm going to give you, have helped me and my organization stay within budget or stay as close as we can, right? Again, planning is the number one error. People run out of money. Usually people start using all kinds of credit cards and get into credit card debt. Their credit score suffers because the more money that you ramp up on a credit card, obviously the less income income ratio kind of lowers, just everything plays a part. So be very aware of what you're going to be planning for the future. All right, so 6 ways. Here we go. Number one is you have to identify your wants versus your needs. What are your wants versus your needs? Okay, something that I want. Well, I want a private jet, right? But I just need to buy a regular plane ticket to get to my destination. Does that make sense? My want versus my need. Now, I want the latest hot car that's on a car lot, but I need a vehicle to get me from point A to point B. Does that make sense? So what are your wants and what are your needs? Now, feel free. I'm going to show you something. Every time, it doesn't matter where I go. It doesn't matter if I'm in my office, in my studio, if I'm traveling. I always have a notepad, whether your notepad looks like this, whether it looks like this, like a journal, whether it looks a composition book, it doesn't matter, or whether you have a fancy wancy calendar or notebook. It doesn't matter what you have. I have them all just because I have awesome people that usually give me great gifts, and they give me cool stuff all the time. But whatever it is, whatever makes you more prepared, or gets you a little bit more prepared on what you're trying to do, it doesn't matter what it is, you do it. But the first thing you got to do is write it down. Make a T column on a sheet of paper and put wants and put needs. Needs is for instance, like I said, the car to get you from A to B, or maybe you need paper towels, or you need a table cover, or you need, whatever it is. Just write whatever your monthly wants versus needs on your thing. Now, my journal, I always keep a little journal in my purse, a pen and a journal. It's small, as you can see it. It's about, let me see. Yeah, it's about the size of my hand, or maybe a little bigger. And I keep this for easy access in my purse. Why? Because if I have a note, if I have a thought, if I have a plan, if I overspend, if I trying to give me a reminder, I can hurry up and go write it down. And when I get home to my actual calendar, then I can go in there and I just saw something fall out of there. I'm sorry, guys, but here, I'm gonna close it. But this is my weekly planner, right? And in my weekly planner, I plan my day ahead. So the night before, I plan ahead. If for some reason I'm not home and I don't take this big book, because this one's heavy, I'm not going to carry it everywhere. What I do is I put it on my calendar on my phone. So whether you're more electronic or you're more, old fashioned like me, I like to see things written down. For some reason, every time I write something with my hands, it keeps more in my memory than if I just put it on my electronic calendar. Does that make sense? I'm going to ask Bollywood Mania to please stop texting. Hold on, guys. I had to block somebody because they continue to bombard. So I'm going to block you. If you're not participating on this and just talking nonsense, I'm going to go ahead and block you. So this is the time for serious planning. This is Money Monday. This is not whatever it is that you think you're writing on there. So please save yourself the trouble, because I will block you. So it's very easy. It's a quick button to block. So there, poof, he's gone. So let's keep on going. Lord, talk about people that have nothing better to do. All right, so let's go back. Have you guys read the How Money Works book? And it talks about planning, right? Financial education. So if you don't have it, grab a book. All right, so once you have identified what your wants versus what your needs are, then the number 2 tip is create a budget. Okay, we are supposed to be creating budgets on a monthly basis. Now, on your budget, okay, you're going to have fixed expenses. Again, create another T and write down all of your fixed expenses. your fixed expenses are usually your mortgage payment or your rent payment, right? Because that doesn't change month by month. And when it changes very few and far in between. But you write your fixed expenses on one end, and then you write your variable expenses, the ones that change. Maybe this month, because it's the holidays, I'm going to spend more money on groceries than on a regular month that everybody, that nobody comes to visit or whatever. So those are your variable expenses. If we're home for the holidays and we know we're going to run our gas bill a lot higher, kind of project what is going to be that variable expense. So fixed expenses is stuff that doesn't change: your car payments, your insurance payments, your rent or mortgage payments, that kind of thing is your fixed expenses. So have them there so you already know. And then on the other side of the T, put your variable expenses, anything and everything that is going to come within that month. A very good example is when we have birthdays and we throw birthday parties, right? Of course, we're going to spend more in groceries, more in entertainment. We're going to go cake runs and all that good stuff. So make sure that every month when you revise your budget, that month is allocated to whatever new expense is coming on there. All right. So once you have created a budget, you've identified what you want this month versus what you need this month. You've created a budget. You already know how much disposable income you have. Your disposable income is everything that is left over after spending your budget. Okay? That's your disposable income. Then another good tip that I can give you is keep a separate account. Keep a separate bank account or a savings account just for your disposable income or just for your expense account. Why? Because in the holidays, we tend to go and take our money from our budget, from our bill money, right? So a lot of people make this mistake. A lot of people charge the credit cards, and I am not saying it's wrong to use a credit card. I'm just saying it's wrong to misuse a credit card. Okay. So there's ways to spend money on your credit card that you have to be aware that you're going to pay within that 28-day period or grace period so you can avoid paying interest rate. Especially if it's one of those credit cards that they're charging you 24%, 20%, anything above, I would say 8% makes me nervous. Okay. Because I know if my money is not making more than what my money is spending, then I'm losing. Okay. So consider that. So when you keep a separate bank account, you can put all of your leftover play money in there, your holiday money, okay? Your extra expense money. So again, if you've been to one of my episodes or you've been to one of my financial education classes where I talk about where to keep your money in different bank accounts, I show you that there is banks that you can access very easy. Those are your liquid accounts. And then banks that you don't. You want to have your fun account in a place that gives you a debit card that you can use it. Or if you're very disciplined, like I know some of you are, because I speak to a lot of you about money, you can use one credit card that you pay every 28 days. Okay. So keep a separate account so you know which one is the account where you're spending money, and it's easier for tracking, it's easier for putting it in your budgeting, and it's easier for bookkeeping. So just remember that. Now, number 4 is plan your spending. People don't plan what they're going to spend. So I have a little tip for you. Make a list, okay? Know ahead of time. So for instance, we were putting a plan together for Christmas decorations. And we talked about it. I made sure that I brought up that subject. Christmas decorating should have a budget, especially if you're starting from scratch. Okay. I like to change my decorations a little bit year after year, and then kind of recycle them and go back to them. So half of the things that I put out, I recycle. The other half, I kind of change year by year. Then I put them away. And then maybe 3-4 years later, I come back to it, right? If you have the space to store. But if you already know, so if you're going to buy a Christmas tree, no, if you're going to buy a natural Christmas tree, it's a lot cheaper. If you're going to buy an artificial Christmas tree, it's an investment. Why? Because you're going to be reusing it year after year. So if, let's say, that tree costs you $500 versus the natural tree that costs you $100 every year, well, that $500 tree is kind of like buying a natural, but you can use it for the next 5 years. Now, there's people I know, like my sister, my oldest sister, she said, I asked her, she has a beautiful, gorgeous, like 11 or 13, foot high tree. And I asked her, I said, how long have you had your tree? And she was thinking about it. She's like, oh my God, over 10 years. So whatever that tree cost her, let's say that tree cost her $900. Well, that's kind of like she spent $90 every year, right, on that tree, or $900 one year, and then she saved the cost of the tree. So have that plan ahead. Am I going to go for an artificial that I'm going to have to put a little bit more money in there, or am I going to go natural to save on the natural? But now you got to spend on the lights, right? Some of the artificial already have the lights, but have that on there. Okay, so if your tree is $500, then you're going to spend another $300-$500 in the rest of the decorations. You're already at $1,000 budget. Okay, so have that very identified on your list of how much you're going to spend. The other thing during the holidays that you need to spend and allocate on a list is, who are you buying gifts to? So make a list of everybody that you're going to buy, or every exchange that you're going to be involved in, whether it's at work, whether it's with your familia, whether, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you have that written down. Who you're going to buy to and what your budget per person is. It doesn't matter if you're going to spend $10 per gift, $100 per gift, or $1,000 per gift. Make sure that you have it written down, because this will help you plan your entire budget with your disposable income and your holiday spending. All right. So make a list of everything that you're going to need in the month of December. Okay. Let's just talk about the month of December. Remember, extra food goes in there, extra alcohol, drinks, whatever it is that you guys are going to be spending on. Oh, good, Alejandro. Okay. He says, it's crazy to know how much of this I already do. So you're doing something great, Alejandro, because if you plan accordingly, if you write it down, if you make a list, if you open a little extra account, which will be your spending account, you leave the rest of the credit cards at home, okay? Because it gets really tempting. It will help you keep your budget and manage your money accordingly. Now, why do you think we manage our money and we have to go through all these hoops? It's so you don't get in trouble financially. So you're not financially burdened later trying to figure out how you're going to do it. And so it just gives you peace of mind. Knowing how to budget, all it is, it brings you that peace of mind. You don't have to be perfect, but you can get as close as possible as you can. Okay. So thank you for that comment. Now, the next tip number 5 is stick to your plan. Become strong when tempted. Okay. So let's say I wanted to buy, okay, let's keep talking about this Christmas tree. Okay. So now we measure the ceiling. We know that the Christmas tree is going to be 9 feet. So or that a good enough Christmas tree will be 7.5 feet, right? So you go to the store and all of a sudden you go, okay, well, I can get this 7.5 tree for $200. But oh my God, they have a sale. I can get a $500 9-foot tree because it's on sale for $100. And you know, stores, they're meant to entice you to upgrade your spending limit. Okay. They want your money. They want you to keep your money in there. So they'll start pushing you for it. But in your budget, if you have it in your list and you already know how much disposable income you have, you already know what things you can give up on and what things there's no way you'll give up on. Does that make sense? If you have that under control, it shouldn't be much trouble to know if you really can take advantage of that or you need to stick to your plan. So sticking to your plan is key. You have to prepare yourself mentally before you go shopping. You already know a list of who you need to buy with to, so you start checking off, and that will help you keep your budget. Okay. And be strong. Be strong. Remember, a weakness now will be a very painful burden later. Okay. So be very careful. And last but certainly not least, tip number 6 is revise your plan often. It is okay. It's human nature for us to over exaggerate or underestimate. And if you just revise your plan often, be okay changing it and checking your plan every time you come back from the store and go, okay, did I stay within budget? Did I save any money that I can now allocate for future adjustments? So with this revision that you do, you can do it daily. If you're that good, you could do it once a week, or you could do it every 2 weeks. But again, revise it often as you can. I will revise my plan once a day if I was out spending, or once a week. If I'm spending money once a week, then I would revise it. But, you know, that's in a nutshell, the 6 steps or 6 ways to stay within budget and not get into trouble later. Okay. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget, if you do not have your How Money Works book yet, I will gift this to you for Christmas. This is the end of November. December is right around the corner, and you should make it a mission to read the How Money Works. I do have other books that I usually recommend as well for money, like Tax-Free Retirement is one really good one. I'll post because I think next month I'm going to have a list of books that everybody should plan on reading in 2022. And again, anything I give you, any tips or ideas I give you, this is stuff that has worked for me. Okay. If it works for you, great. You know, we're able to acquire something from my talks. And if it doesn't work for you, it's not the end-to-end all resolution. Okay. So hopefully I was able to help you today. Again, 6 ways to stay within budget is identify what your wants versus your needs are, create a budget, keep separate accounts at any time that's possible, plan your spending before you go out of the house, even if it's the grocery list. Okay, plan your spending. Stick to your plan, be strong, do not let temptations hit you, and revise your plan often. And with this, I say goodbye to today's episode of Money Mondays, and hopefully you learned something new today, and we will see you next week with our next show. Thank you. Have a great rest of your week.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way. stop me. I'm all the way.